Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Social Nardcast Hour. And today we're going to talk about The Sims and my thoughts on The Sims. Particularly, we're going to talk a little bit more about The Sims 4 because that's what I've been primarily playing. And if you're listening into the podcast, you'll know that this is going to be a video too on my Nardvillain Sims 4 channel. So you're in for a treat. So if you're not listening on the podcast, you're probably watching on the video. So we're going to jump right into the topic, which is The Sims 4, my journey, my thoughts on The Sims 4 as a whole. And we're going to probably talk a little bit about my initial thoughts on The Sims 4, my favorite expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs. We'll talk a little bit about the kits, and we're going to talk about my least favorite things about The Sims 4, my favorite things about The Sims 4, and then we're going to dive in a little bit and talk a little bit about my wish list, and then touch bases on unpopular opinions that I have when it comes to The Sims 4. Now let's talk about the franchise a little bit. I don't know exactly, where everybody started when it comes to what game they started playing with, but obviously for me, I started out with the very first Sims. I mean, I had the deluxe edition, the deluxe edition. I had the deluxe edition, and then started playing. I think right around probably like 2000. I didn't own the game yet, and then I probably didn't end up buying the game for myself until 2002, which is the deluxe edition. And I've been playing since. I started playing Sims 2, and Sims 2 was cool. Sims 2 was was definitely an update from Sims. I didn't own the game. I did play it on a friend's PC. My memory isn't the greatest when it comes to The Sims 2. And then there was a time where I actually downloaded the game through BitTorrents and stuff like that. In fact, it might have been just through LimeWire or something like that, something crazy like that. But then from there, I did buy Sims 3. I owned Sims 3 for a minute, but it didn't work on my computer. So I wasn't really able to really experiment with The Sims 3 like I really wanted to. And then Sims 4, I was able to play that on my newest machine, which was my iMac at the time, and it worked just fine. And I really got into The Sims 4 during the earlier stages of the pandemic because we had so much time on our hands. So I ended up buying it on Origin. This is like early 2020. And from there, that's just pretty much how I actually started on The Sims 4. Now, a lot of people probably thinking, wow, you're an early bird when it comes to The Sims. Not necessarily. I'm an early bird when it comes to, or a late riser or whatever you want, or late player when it comes to Sims 4. I have been playing Sims for pretty much all of my life since it came out. It's just that I haven't really had a chance to explore Sims 4 as soon as it came out, because again, I did have Sims 3 and that was the game I was trying to play, but then it just didn't work on my computer. And then I also have the Sims free mobile or free play on mobile. I had that for a minute and was playing that as soon as it came out. So that was kind of time consuming. Actually, it's a money grabber too, because I know I had to pay for to be able to, enhance your career in the career. So that was a little tough too. So that's pretty much how I started. And I really like the franchise as a whole, and we'll talk a little bit about what I really like about it and the things that I really don't like about it. But it's a well done game. If we had to just talk about the franchise as a whole, I would definitely say it's definitely a well done simulation game. I mean, if you've played anything from like Sim City to Sims Herbs or whatever, it's just a rounded game. I felt like it was well done, and with the gameplay, graphics at that time, back into the early 2000s, I thought it was well done. It was something that wasn't. The graphics was great for the time. I think 2000 through 2002, I think the graphics was great. And it just goes up from there, Honestly, I felt like Sims 2 graphics was a little bit better than Sims 3 graphics. That could be me, but the graphic engine for Sims 4 is just amazing. It's incredible. And that's what I think I like about Sims 4 a lot when it comes to the 4 franchises. I feel like from 1, 2, 3, and 4, obviously Sims 4 has the best graphic engine, and it's not as laggy as Sims 3. Sims 3, it has its moments. It has some really good details that I think Sims 4 lack, especially in the food department. Like if you're making something as simple as like some waffles or some pancakes or whatever in Sims 3, just the details of how to make it is like, I feel like is a lot better than Sims 4. But my initial thoughts on Sims 4 was, wow, the graphics is definitely amazing. And I also enjoyed the gameplay. I like the camera. People are going to hate me on this, but because I didn't play Sims 3 before playing Sims 4, the controls, the camera modes were a lot easier and easy to navigate than Sims 3. Because a lot of people obviously came from Sims 3 to Sims 4, and they love the Sims 3 camera. Me, I like Sims 4 camera because it's just easy for me to navigate. Now, I do love Sims 3's capability of being able to free rotate, and there are some tilting things in build mode that you can do with Sims 3 that you can't in Sims 4. But also another thing that I liked about Sims 4 as I began content creating was the fact that you can kind of adjust your camera angles and stuff and set camera points for movements, something that you really can't do in Sims 3. So I really enjoyed that component once I became a content creator. And now that we're talking about content creating, I want to say this real quick before jumping into the actual the things that I like about it and my favorite game packs and expansion packs, whatever. But for me, getting into The Sims 4 was just a way for me to have another creative outlet, because as you know, I don't know if you guys follow my other things, but obviously I'm a content creator. I've been a content creator for the last like 14 plus years, starting out, podcasting to creating local videos. And I had a blog. I still do have a blog where I feature restaurants and chefs, bartenders, things to do when I'm out and about here locally in San Diego. So when the pandemic hit, I just felt like I had like a moment where I lost a lot of creativity. Like I felt like I was stuck at home and I didn't have much to do. So I was, stuck with playing, not necessarily stuck playing video games. I really didn't play a lot of video games at the beginning of the pandemic. I just had Sims because I've been thinking about getting the Sims earlier on, like around like 2019, 2020. I just didn't think it would be a smart investment if I didn't think I was going to play it enough. But then when it went on sale, it was like, what, $5? I was like, I have to hop on that and get it. So when I bought it, it was just for casual playing of the game, getting used to it or whatnot. So I had that. Then I ended up buying a PlayStation and then started playing like, Friday the 13th and stuff like that. But then like 6 months in, I was like towards the end of the year, I was kind of like, well, I'm still not really, going out writing blogs a lot. I feel like there's just my creativity I'm losing it. I don't feel creative. I still would get like clients here and there because, I'm a filmer. I'm a filmmaker. I also edit videos and stuff. So a lot of times I feel like I didn't get a chance to really go out and film stuff because of the pandemic and the restrictions we had. And so the first 6-7 months of the pandemic, it was very hard. I didn't have any creative outlets because a lot of the things that I was involved in doing was like going to restaurants and featuring bartenders and doing food type recipes and videos and stuff and going out to events to film them. And none of that was happening. And then my clientele kind of dropped. So I didn't really have a lot of clients in the hospitality industry. It was more like now I'm doing video editing for nonprofits, which is great. So in a way, it kind of worked out for me in regards to clientele. Like work didn't really slow down, but it slowed down enough for me to kind of catch a breath, catch a breather, and really think about what the future may hold for me as like a content creator, and then B as a an independent contractor. What is that going to look like in the future? Because I'm not doing a lot of hospitality stuff or whatever. So that was an issue that I was kind of I was facing at the time. So I was watching other creators, Sims 4 creators, kind of like give a run through on like certain game packs and expansion packs, like little walkthroughs. Because at that time, I was buying game packs and expansion packs left and right because there were sales and stuff, and I was getting bundles. So I was taking advantage of that. But then there was a lot of times where I was buying the game or game packs and expansion packs at full price. And so I definitely spent quite a bit of money in the last 2-3 years at this point. But so when I started figuring out, well, what really got me into wanting to be a content creator was when I started seeing these legacy challenges. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not going to sit here and talk about, the game packs and give you guys reviews on different types of DLCs out there, because I'm still kind of, not necessarily, I'm still kind of new. I mean, I'm like 6-7 months in playing the game, and I was playing it very regularly too. So I was like, man, I really do love this idea and this concept of being able to tell stories. I didn't necessarily want it to be on camera, but I really enjoyed the idea of telling my story and going and running through gameplay ideas and scenarios, because I still do. What really got me wanting to actually start creating content is I watch a content creator who doesn't really do Sims. He does gaming and just regular lifestyle type stuff. His name's T Pendale, and he also has a channel called T Pendale Got Game. And I used to watch him, I still do, watch him play like a bunch of Friday the 13th gameplays. And I just liked his personality. I just felt like I vibed with him. And you don't really see a lot of people that you rock with or vibe with. So when I saw that he was the type of person that I will watch as a gaming channel, which I don't watch any gamers, to be quite honest with you, it's crazy, that I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool that I found someone that plays Friday the 13th that I can really vibe with and just watch his stuff, And so then I started watching SimSav. I started watching her Legacy Challenge gameplays, and that's what really made me click. Whereas, like, I love how she does her Let's Plays, and then that inspired me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a pandemic version of a Let's Play, a pandemic version out in like San Myshuno, because right then and there I've been playing. That was one of the first game expansion packs I bought was City Living, and I just really loved City Living so much that I was like, I'm gonna base my first Let's Play around City Living and around San Myshuno, and how can we implement the pandemic also into the gameplay. And so that's how it started, and that's how Nardvillain was born. I kept Nardvillain because Nardvillain was it was my go-to for all my like social media handles. Like my personal IG is Nardvillain, and then I had a Snapchat at one point was Nardvillain, and just everything just ended up being Nardvillain. So I was like, you know what, all my gaming stuff can just be Nardvillain, because I have everything starting out with Nard anyway. So it's like Nardcast and Nard's Neighborhood at one point when I was doing a food things to do section or whatever. And then so I just kept it, and that's what I rolled with. So that was my start of content creating. It was December of 2020, and I've been going strong for almost a year and a half now, and I have no regrets with it. And T Pendale, SimSav, maybe even Michael Turner were like some of the very first content creators that really inspired me to really start doing this. And then as I started really getting involved with the community, I started like really falling in love with like these other Sims 4 content creators that really had their own niche, and it was like just super cool just watching people just like kind of like grow and do their own thing. And so it was just really cool. So they were kind of like my mentors in a way, even though they don't know that, but I know I just called out, 2 creators. They're like my main, they're like mentors to me as well. And then I fell into this whole like streaming like community, and then like, yeah, it was a beautiful moment. It's been a beautiful journey, but that's not what we're here for. Is to talk about the journey as a content creator. We just want to talk a little bit about just the Sims in general, right? The Sims 4 in general. And let's just talk about the packs, right? As you know, there's over 40 plus some packs, including the kits. I know there's 11 expansion packs, and out of the 11, I probably would say maybe 3 are my favorite, like my definitely go-to favorites, like City Living. I like Get Famous. I like get to work, and of course you're gonna want to throw in, seasons. But again, seasons is just one of those expansion packs where it could have just been a base game update. You don't even get a world. You don't get any of that. So that was kind of like a EA. That was kind of a way of EA saying, we know you want seasons, but we're gonna make you pay for it, right? It's just, I don't know why they didn't make that a base game update, or just even included it into the game at the jump, So that was really weird to me. And then also you have at least 11 game packs, and obviously I like, Spa Day, Parenthood, and I like Dine Out, I guess. Dine Out could be a little glitchy, but it's still a pack that I couldn't live without, And then I do like the occult ones. They're starting to rub off on me a little bit, like magic and vampires, but I don't really rock with the gameplay too much. So I can't really give you an exact opinion about it, which is why it's really not my top 3 favorites. And then you got your stuff packs. I mean, goodness, there are like 18 of them. And I'll say, like, I mean, I like the idea of like a smaller, cheaper pack, but it gets really overwhelming because there's 18 of them now. And I'll tell you, like, I like the movie Hangout. I really do enjoy playing the paranormal, the gameplay. The gameplay and the what else? The gameplay and the cast is great. And then also I like, like Moschino for the photography career, for the photos, and the movie in the photo studio is great. And then you got your kits. You're already at 10. I mean, they launched 3 in 2019. Sorry, they launched 3 in 2021, and now we're already at, well, that was the launch, was 3, and then they launched 7 more, and I think they've launched 2 already in 2022. So yeah, they're going strong with these kits. Kits for me are just another money grabber. It's you can live with, you can live without them. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many of them. You can pick and choose the ones you want because they might just be build and buy items for one. Some might just be gameplay. Then there's others where it's like, okay, well, here's some cast items for you. So it's very niched and it's cheap. It's like $4.99 USD. Can't beat it, but you don't have to necessarily buy them. A lot of people complain about them. For me, it's like, it's a hit or miss. Like, I don't need them in my game, and I don't necessarily, and I can also use them. I can take advantage of the Bust the Dust kit, where I can kind of go and be able to give my Sims extra things to do, like vacuum. And the dust bunnies at one point used to be crazy, but you gave us an update, a patch update, where it doesn't happen as quickly. Okay, so yeah, so those are pretty much an idea of what I really like, and when it comes to packs that we already have, right? Now let's just talk about maybe some of my least favorite things about The Sims 4 that I can maybe talk a little bit about right now. I think my least favorite thing is just the overwhelming amount of game or packs in general that they give you. That still kind of gives you very minimum of anything that you always want. Like, sometimes they give you these packs, and then it's like, oh man, the gameplay is there, but it's not enough. It's like, they could have done this with this pack, but they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like Get Famous. Like, it's a great pack, but they could have done a little bit better with the world. They could have gave us more lots. They could have gave us a little bit more features with the careers. Or, okay, we can be an actor, but what about all the other careers that you can get, like the director or whatever, So it's like they're giving you just a push, right? But not enough to where it's like, this is like a 100% overall great pack because it gives you everything, And I think that is the same with other packs too. Like, even game packs, they give you these game packs, like, for example, Parenthood, great pack, but I also think the development traits aren't just there, because when you see how well they did the perk system with vampires and magic, it's like, wow, like you would think they would do a lot better with the development traits and stuff like that system with the parenthood, like, so that way when they grow up into adulthood, it can really enhance and shape the way that sim might be, whether it's the way their manners are, if they like going to work, how they handle conversations. Maybe they can autonomously do more rude things than polite things, just stuff like that, where I just felt like they really missed the opportunity to really give us development of a character, of a sim. So those are just a few things that I feel like are my least favorites, is that it's very overwhelming with a lot of packs, but yet the packs aren't like, not all of them are like, spot on, like 100% great, there's always something missing. And then, sometimes we do get packs where it's, it can, it comes out already buggy, or some issues, or they give us a patch update, and then because of the patch update, one of the other game packs or packs in general are not working right. So then you have to deal with that, and then it takes them a while to get that one fixed or whatever. So I do get the frustration that people may have in the game in general, but at the end of the day too, we do as a community, we do have to be patient. But I do appreciate that we do have all spectrums of content creators, or just people in general, who consume the Sims 4 game, and there's people who really are pushing the idea of, we need solid packs. Like, we want packs that don't come off glitchy right when you buy it, Then you have the people that are just a little bit more like chill, like, okay, whatever, it's a broken pack, or or they just buy the game because of FOMO or whatever. And those are the people that EA probably likes the best, is because they don't complain. But I do like that we do have a wide spectrum of people who are gonna like really push EA to like push out good content, because you got a lot of, like, I ain't gonna say big content creators, but you have a lot of voices in the community that could really have an impact on how the game can go moving forward. And a lot of the times, I think, because some voices are bigger than others, I think we need a great mix of voices that aren't the same all the time. Like, I like the fact that, yeah, we do get voices that are very evergreen, and they're going to say every pack's great, and they're going to really be pushing the idea like, wow, this is great, awesome, because maybe they're paid, but I ain't going to say paid to do that, but I feel like they're holding back on their real opinions. But again, I'm glad that we have that, because a lot of times we do still need, I guess, people that have big voices to do that, And then you got the other voices where it's like kind of bashing this, the franchise a little bit. And I guess it's just kind of healthy to have a whole wide spectrum of voices that are hating it because they want it to improve, and just to influence people to like hold back a little bit, so that way EA can understand, like, we're not going to buy every pack if it's going to be lackluster, or if it's going to be broken or whatever. So it's kind of nice to have a mixture of different voices, and versus having the same kind of voice. And I think it's not okay because you have a voice, to bash other people who have a different voice than you. I feel like as a community, it's nice to have difference of opinions, because again, I think that helps the community grow. It helps EA know like when they're really messing up and when they're not messing up, and they have their go-to people for all different purposes. Like, obviously, I don't know where my voice stands when it comes to like the overall view of the Sims. Like, I like it. Sometimes it might be like, oh man, this could have been a better pack. But like I said, I'm a content creator. This gives me an outlet to enjoy creating content. And for me, how I create content, I don't necessarily need a fully working game. I do actually need a fully working game, so I take that back. It's just that because of the lack of gameplay, a lot of content creators, or just players in general say about the game, for me, that doesn't really matter too much for me. For me, I can still create something based around the gameplay that we already have, because again, it's just me creating stories, and I'm okay with that. I'm not a builder, and I definitely don't do anything in create a Sims. So any of those two components of the game, I don't even do. So I do rely heavily on gameplay, and if it's not there, I have to sometimes challenge myself to still create a cool story with the tools that I have in the game. And that's when mods come in. Unfortunately for console players, you might not be able to have mods in your game, but for the sake of PC players, we can implement some mods and stuff in our gameplay. Now, I don't want to keep you guys, so hopefully briefly in the next 4 minutes or so, I can just tell you a little bit about my favorite things and then my wish list real quick. I'm gonna keep it quick. So some of my favorite things about the game obviously is gameplay. Yeah, it lacks a lot, because if you're comparing Sims 4 to Sims 3 and maybe even Sims 2, of course it's gonna lack gameplay between those other between Sims 2 and Sims 3. But for me, I mean, gameplay's there. It's okay. It could be better, but I do enjoy the gameplay. I love the graphics. The graphics is great. The worlds are beautiful. Going back to the worlds, I really do wish that they could have done a little bit better with Get to Work. I know that's probably one of my least favorite worlds, but I felt like they didn't even try with that one. But it happens, But yeah, I'll say my favorite thing probably is gameplay, because I like creating gameplay, or I like to create stories based around the gameplay that they give us. So that's probably like my big favorite. And then again, it's just therapeutic for me. I like being able to come in here, even though I'm not a builder. I can like pop on a movie or a podcast and just sit back and build something for a family that I might be playing in game. And I can just sit back, and it's just like therapy. I don't have to think too much, and it's fun. Time passes by, so it kills a little bit of time that I that if I have time to play casually, yeah. So that's another favorite thing of it. It's just therapeutic for me. I love it. I enjoy it. I've been playing it almost all my life, since I was 17, maybe 16. So it's been an enjoyable game for me, an enjoyable experience. Sims in general has been an enjoyable experience for me. And there's a couple little things on my wish list that I wish that they can do or implement. Like, I would love a Generations pack. Everybody's been wanting it. It'll help with gameplay. It'll help with character development, you would think. Also, I would love a music pack. Y'all know how I've been raving about a nice little music pack. I also would love a Grim Reaper pack, or even like a stuff pack where you can give us a career or something. I don't know, but I think it'd be dope. I wish they bring back Sim Sessions, because like I said, anything entertainment, music is my favorite. And I know they want to keep each game, like Sims 2, Sims 3, Sims 4, have their own uniqueness to it. So I don't necessarily need transportation or open world concepts. So let's move into unpopular opinions real quick, and then we'll wrap up. I don't care too much about farm animals, so I don't really necessarily need farm animals in my game. And as I mentioned too, this is an unpopular opinion, of course. Transportation, I can live without it, to be honest with you. I can also live without the open world concept. However, if you're in a specific neighborhood in that world, I don't necessarily think you need a loading screen. So I wouldn't mind an open world concept if it means it won't load in a specific part of the world. Because that just doesn't make sense for me to have to go for a loading screen to go to the next building. You know what I mean? To me, that it doesn't make sense to do that. Other than that, I think those are mostly my unpopular opinions that I want to talk about in this podcast or this episode. So yeah, that's basically Sims 4 for me in an overall view. Everything from my favorite things about it to my least favorite things about it to how I got involved with The Sims 4 as a content creator and all the things that I like about it. And a small little amount of a wish list. Like, I can go on about all the other things that I would like to see in The Sims 4, but that could be another topic. That could be another video or another episode of the podcast. And with that being said, hopefully you guys got some value out of this. This is a little different format. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening in. And be sure you check it out here on my YouTube channel if you want to watch me talk to the camera. But anyway, with that being said, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.